Avengers Endgame is less than a month away, and we just can't wait. While we're waiting for the movie to come out, we're re-watching those trailers at least 10 times a day, and while we do that, we noticed some interesting things about the film's timeline. We believe we'll be getting some major time jumps, and in this video, we'll somehow connect Black Widow's hairstyle to time travel. It's gonna be wild. We know we literally just said it, but Avengers Endgame is only a few weeks away, and we can't wait. Seriously, how bad would it be if a meteor hit Earth right now, or if there was a zombie outbreak? That would really suck, but who are we kidding? We'd still go see it in the theaters anyway. We're pretty sure that Avengers Endgame will be a massive box office success no matter what, because it's a movie event that even the living dead won't miss. But in all seriousness, we have millions of questions coming into Endgame. And while we're pretty sure the film will answer most of them, we can't help but theorize on what's going to happen. We did get a major answer for how much time will pass between Infinity War and Endgame and Captain Marvel. In the mid-credits scene for Captain Marvel, we saw the surviving heroes trying to understand what the deal is with Nick Fury's pager. The major revelation in this scene is that Endgame will be set shortly after the events of Infinity War. Captain America is still rocking that magnificent beard, and Black Widow still has her short blonde hair from the previous film. And from what we see in this scene, it seems like it has been mere days since the decimation. The scene ends with Black Widow turning around to find Captain Marvel standing right behind her, asking, "Where's Fury?" How cruel would it have been if Black Widow pulled out a glass jar filled with dust and told Carol, "Here's Fury"? Yeah, that would have been something. The interesting thing about this scene is that it pretty much makes so many theories about Endgame's timeline obsolete. Ever since Infinity War, many fans had believed that we'll be getting a serious time jump in between the two Avengers films. But now it appears like the time jump will be only few days at best. While the time jump in between films won't be as long as we all thought, we still think there will be at least one major time jump in the film itself. We think there's one indication that we're getting at least one or two time jumps in Endgame, and that is Black Widow's hair. Yes, her hair. It's not hard to see that Natasha Romanoff's hairstyle goes through its own character development in the Endgame trailers. In the first trailer, Black Widow's hair is the same as it was in Infinity War, short and blonde. Then in the Super Bowl spot, we saw that her hair has grown a bit, and now she rocks a ponytail. But the color was still blonde. Yet in the latest Endgame trailer, we see that Natasha's hair is much longer and red. That's a whole lot of hairstyle changes for just one movie, don't you think? Even Tony Stark doesn't change that many suits in one go. So how did Black Widow's hair become so integral to Endgame's plot? Well, while we admit that hair is not a big thing in the grand scheme of things in Endgame, considering the fact that Natasha's hair has enough time to grow and turn red, we think it's pretty clear we'll see some type of a time jump within the film itself. And that's something we generally don't see in MCU movies. But when and how will that time jump happen? We believe that the Avengers on Earth, including Captain Marvel, will try to either go after Thanos early or try to do something to undo the decimation in the first 30 minutes or so of the film. In the teaser trailer, we see a moment between Captain America and Black Widow in the Quinjet, as Natasha tells Steve this is going to work. We're not sure what this thing is that they hope will work, but we can see that Natasha's hair is still short like in Infinity War. In the newest trailer, we do see the Avengers do battle with someone, but with how these trailers are edited, it's very hard to know what's going on and when it's happening. It's possible they face Thanos in the first part of the film, which could be a very interesting turn of events. While the Avengers might end up defeating or capturing Thanos, they might realize that the gauntlet is broken, or that the Infinity Stones don't work anymore, and they can't undo the decimation. Regardless of what happens after that talk between Steve and Natasha on the Quinjet, we might have a slight time jump after their failed mission, as the heroes are forced to deal with the reality that the decimation might not be undone. The Avengers might stay depressed for a while, until Ant-Man shows up with some hope and news about the possibility of time travel. And with Iron Man coming back as well, we guess that's where a new plan will be hatched. We still have no idea how Tony will be coming back, but the new trailer does confirm that Iron Man will be with the other Avengers on their final mission. But the key for Endgame might actually be Ant-Man. And no, we don't think Ant-Man will jump into Thanos' butt and go Giant Man from the inside. For that, Ant-Man would need his brown suit, and he doesn't have that yet. In the post-credit scene for Ant-Man and the Wasp, we saw Scott Lang go inside the quantum realm, which ends up being some really bad timing, because right then and there, Thanos snaps his fingers, and 50% of all life turns to dust, including Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Hope Van Dyne. Just before Scott enters the quantum realm, Janet warns him to watch out for time vortexes. That warning might end up being the key for undoing the snap, since a time vortex might be how the Avengers could travel through time, which may very well connect to Doctor Strange's so-called Endgame.
We're in the Endgame now.
Regardless of how Ant-Man returns from the quantum realm, we think that once he meets up with the other Avengers, Scott will give the heroes a new hope for undoing the decimation. This is when the big time jump of the film will happen. In the second trailer, we see Scott Lang, Tony Stark, and Nebula with the other Avengers, all of them dressed up in new white suits. We think those suits will allow the heroes travel inside the quantum realm, hitch a ride on a time vortex, and go back in time to save the day. Tony Stark and Bruce Banner are the science bros, and both of them are pretty smart, duh, so we're sure they'll be working day and night on figuring out a way to use those time vortexes. But Hank Pym's technology is one step above the usual stuff the science bros deal with. Stark and Banner will need some time to understand how Pym particles work and how to utilize a time vortex properly. Sure, Scott Lang might help out, but let's be honest, he's no Hank Pym. Reverse engineering Pym's technology and figuring out a way to travel through time isn't going to be easy, that's for sure. If you notice, in the second trailer, Black Widow's hair isn't only red. It's also much longer, which shows that we'll indeed be getting a time jump, and we think that such a time jump is very necessary. When you think about it, most MCU films take place over the course of only a few days at best. Sure, there are time jumps in between movies, but usually each film spans no longer than a week. Take 2012's Avengers, for example. Only a few days separate Loki's arrival on Earth and the Battle of New York. Having a significant time jump within Endgame will really help show the devastation of the decimation. Beyond that, showing that even the smartest members of the team need a good amount of time to figure out how Pym's technology works and how to use it for time travel will help in setting up the importance of the quantum realm and won't undermine Ant-Man. After all, we're sure that Hank Pym needed years to create his technology, and having the science bros just crack it in a day will really make Ant-Man's presence in the film pointless. The time jump will also be a good way for Captain America and Iron Man to reconcile. After all, we think there might be some serious bad blood between the two following the events of Civil War, and we don't want them just to hug it out the first time they see each other. The two will need to work some stuff out and find a way to trust each other again so they can lead the Avengers on their final mission. Now, of course, if we're being honest, we're not even 100% sure that the stuff we see in the trailers is actually going to happen in the film. This won't be the first time that Marvel Studios showed footage in the trailers that wasn't in the actual movie. Remember Hulk running through Wakanda in the Infinity War trailers? Yeah, that never happened in the actual film, so we wouldn't be too surprised if a lot of the footage in the Endgame trailers is just there to misdirect us. But that's actually a good thing. Usually with these films, by the time we get the final trailer, it becomes very easy to figure out what happens when in the movie. However, the Endgame trailers don't show much, and with the fact that the film might be 3 hours long, we're in for major surprises. But if Black Widow's hair is a hint for the film's timeline, we think it's a safe bet that the plot of Endgame will span across weeks and months. The interesting thing about Natashas Hair in the MCU is that usually her hairstyle indicates what movie she's in. If you didn't notice, her hair is usually much shorter in all the Avengers movies, while in standalone films like Iron Man 2 and the Captain America movies, her hair was much longer. But Endgame will be the first Avengers film where Black Widow's hair will be short and long. It must mean something, right? Well, it's always possible that Natashas Hair is the key for everything. But we think that her hair is a good indication for the timeline of Avengers Endgame, which is important by itself. While everyone's wondering how the Avengers will undo the snap, we have to ask this. Is Black Widow a natural redhead or a blonde? That's really important, guys. Does the red just grow out during the film, or did Natasha dye her hair red because she didn't like the fact that with Captain Marvel around, there's one too many blonde heroines on the team? How many time jumps do you think we'll get in Endgame? Do you think Black Widow is a redhead or a blonde? Let us know in the comments below, and if you liked this video, we'd appreciate it if you like and subscribe to CBR. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you in the next video.